You're listening to Born to Beam, a radiation therapy podcast hosted by John Claudy.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Born to Beam podcast, where we share stories from the radiation therapy community. I am your host, John Claudy, and today I have a very special guest with me, our executive producer and somewhat of a friend of mine, Rachel Ward-Nowak. Hey, Rachel.
Hello. It's nice to see you, I guess.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
I don't know how
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
I feel like a lot of our listeners probably know who you are, but if they don't, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Rachel. I am a radiation therapist, but I'm also the clinical communications and outreach manager at Skincare Oncology. So I work with doing education for students, other rad techs. I also help with the social media and creating content there. I'm also the executive producer of Born to Beam.
Yeah.
Real resume stacker there. I've been a radiation therapist for almost 10 years now. I'm married. I live in Tennessee, and I have half of a child. I'm
All
halfway,
right. Half-baked.
half-baked.
Are you excited? Scared?
I'm
Nervous?
terrified, yeah.
It's
It's
the
gonna be
best thing ever.
interesting.
Well, cool. Appreciate that. How did you get into radiation therapy?
So, I originally went to college thinking that I was gonna become a pharmacist. I went into my first semester of community college, took that first chemistry class, and absolutely hated it. I cried. I did not like anything to do with chemistry, and it's gonna be a little hard to become a pharmacist if I didn't want to do the chemistry part of it.
Yeah.
So I went to the Bureau of Labor Statistics website and I started looking at other careers in healthcare. And I had this hot pink sheet of paper that I wrote down a bunch on what it would take me to do that profession, what I would need to go to school for, what classes I was already taking. I mean, other important things like what hours I'd have to work, how much money I was going to make. And I kind of process of elimination started crossing out other professions. And while I was sitting at work one day, I worked at a gym at the time. I had a coworker who saw this hot pink piece of paper and was just kind of looking at it to see what careers I was looking at. And she was a radiation therapist.
Oh, cool.
So she offers me the chance to come into her cancer center and shadow her for the day to see what it was all about and meet her team and see the patients and the machines we would get to use. And as soon as I did that, I fell in love with it. I still remember they had a patient who was coming in. I got to see the final treatment day. So, of course, we know it's a huge celebration. There were
Yeah.
cupcakes. Everybody was crying. Everybody was hugging each other. And I was like, I could absolutely do this as a career.
Oh, wow. So you,
And
you
so
do
that
have
was
a heart.
it. What?
Said you
That's
do
what
have
he
a
means
heart.
to me in public.
That's funny. So it sounds like your friend was kind of a influence on your career. Was there anybody else that kind of influenced you
Shout out to
into radiation
Amanda.
therapy? Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, Shane, my now husband, we had
Mhm.
been dating for a whole month when I got into the radiation therapy program. And I was all excited. And I remember telling him that I had gotten accepted. He didn't understand why that was so exciting or what, he didn't really get it, but
Big
he was
deal.
there for me. He supported it. He was around the entire time I was in the radiation therapy program.
Yeah.
He supported me throughout all of that, and he relocated to California while I was in school. So I relocated when I graduated, and he kind of supported me while I got my first job because the job market wasn't so great when I graduated, but
Right.
big
Yeah.
supporter.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a big deal to get accepted to radiation therapy school. Like I assume it's still this way, but lots of
Right.
people apply and only a handful get accepted. So
And I don't think he understood that part of it because he had wanted to become a nurse. And so we
oh
know that a ton of people are in nursing programs. There's tons of nursing programs, tons of people are doing it. So, to tell him I was going to
yeah.
become a radiation therapist and that I was one of 12, I don't think he
Yep.
really got it at the time. Now he sees it, now he understands. But at the time,
Right.
he could have been a little bit more excited,
We'll give them some grace.
I guess.
Yeah. And so you moved to California for a job. Your first job was just traditional radiation therapy, correct?
Yep, I worked in a outpatient cancer center. It was a tiny private owned. They only had one other radiation therapist, and he was looking for somebody
Oh.
to basically be a part-time therapist to kind of help him get a little bit more done. When he would be running sim, I would treat. He would be
Mhm.
able to go to lunch, I would treat, things like that. So I worked there for probably a year and a half. I did also work PRN at a big cancer center in Orange County. I also started to do brachytherapy, so I worked on a Zoft unit for a little bit. Then I stumbled across the radiation therapist posting for the dermatology office, and they had an SRT unit, and I had never done superficial before in my life and took the job and
Nice.
never looked back.
Nice. So what was that experience like going so the first dermatology office you worked in was, a solo practice on its own, like kind of doing their own superficial. What was
Yeah.
it like going from, like in a cancer treatment center to like a dermatology office? I'm sure like, you probably didn't know anybody else doing that and it had to have been a little intimidating.
There were not a ton of people doing it at the time. Skincare is about to be 10 years old, and this was all about 10 years ago as well. So
Yeah.
I was kind of starting out when they were starting out, and I wasn't aware of skincare until a little bit later in my superficial career. So when I first started, it was a privately owned dermatology office. They had privately bought that machine outright from the manufacturer. They owned it
Mhm.
and they could operate it with their protocols. So, part of the issue I ran into was they did not have a standardized training. So the radiation therapist who trained me, we had one day together.
Yeah.
She didn't do a very thorough job teaching me. So I took the manual home that night and read the manual. Luckily, there
Right.
was a toll free number I could use, and that the dermatologist there had been trained. So she was a real big help at the time.
Gotcha. Okay. Very interesting. How many years were you there? Quite a while, right?
I think I started there in 2018, and then
Okay.
I started working part-time with skincare in 2022. Is that when San Antonio's ASRT was?
Trying to remember.
It's all
That
blur now.
sounds
Sounds
about
about
right.
right. And
Yeah.
then so I did work part-time with skincare for, about 6 months before I
Mhm.
left that dermatology office to go full-time with skincare.
Yeah. So been with us about 4 years now. Pretty wild.
Yeah, coming up on
Does-
it.
Doesn't seem like that long, but I
It
guess it
doesn't,
is.
but it also seems like I've been working with skincare for a lot longer because I
Yeah.
had been sharing things that skincare was doing, and a lot of people just associated me to skincare
Right.
before I was
Yeah.
even employed. I know when I did start working with skincare, I walked into the corporate office one day and some people were like, "I thought you already worked here." I was like,
Right.
"No, now it's official."
Yeah. No, I remember that now. I would send you like or job posting board and be like, hey, can you like post this on your social media?
Yes,
So
and
thank you
I
for
will.
doing that.
You're welcome. Because I secretly just wanted to work in Nashville as a skincare therapist. My whole plan was
Mhm.
to leave California one day, and I wanted the Nashville office when it opened, but
Yeah.
skincare had some other ideas for
Had
me.
other plans in mind. That's right.
Mhm.
So, speaking of social media, you have a quite popular social media account. Hashtag rates the RTT. Anyone following? Go do it. But
Yes.
how did all that come to be?
So I was working in that private office and I was the only therapist there. And I have tons of therapy jokes and therapy knowledge, and nobody cared when I would share them in the derm office. So I started to get a lot of people who would reach out to me on my private Instagram because I had posted a photo when I graduated and hashtagged radiation therapist because that was
Mhm.
cool at the time.
Yeah.
When I did that, people would find me through it and they would ask me questions about what my job was, what that career path looked like, education and things like that. And I was what? 20 something living in Southern California. We were having a great time, and not
Yeah.
everything I always posted on my own private social media was what I would portray as a radiation therapy professional.
Right.
So I
Yep.
decided during COVID to kind of separate the two. And
Okay.
I just created Rach the RTT and went from there. I started posting about the questions I would usually get, how to become a radiation therapist, what the career looked like. And really, when I was looking into the career, the Bureau of Labor Statistics was really the only place I had found information. So I figured if I
Mhm.
was looking for it, somebody else could probably benefit from it. And it
Yeah.
turned out to a lot more than I had ever really expected. I was just kind of pushing it off to separate the two, but it became
Right.
kind of helpful.
Yeah. So sounds like you never imagined it would grow into what it is today,
No,
but
never.
it's been successful. And it's always, I don't say funny, but interesting that when we go to conferences together, just like random people come up and be like, oh my gosh, I follow you on Instagram or I follow you on TikTok. And
And
yeah,
it's so
that's
I
pretty cool.
never intended to be working at a booth. I was working in this corner cubicle kind of thing, this little tiny space where I worked alone every single day. And that was just my way of connecting with people. I never thought that a company was going to hire me and have me be this.
Mhm.
There was one conference where my face was on a poster, and I was
Well,
mortified of it because that was not my intention. I never wanted to be an influencer or anything like that. Like, this has never been, like, a financial gain for me. It's just been a kinda, like, side hobby, I guess you would
yeah,
call it.
but no, it's really, really cool what you've done with it. I mean, you
Thank you.
kind of had given radiation therapists a voice and also people looking into radiation therapy just knowledge and power and just letting them know that it's an actual career, which is really neat.
Yeah,
So
and, like, the newer generation, if they're looking for information, that's where they look. It's
yeah,
so gotta put the information where they're gonna find it.
yeah, you should definitely be proud for sure.
Thank you.
And you won like a award kind of, or you were nominated for the gold standard, like based off your account. Is that right?
Each year, the ARRT recognizes three professionals for going above and beyond within the profession, different
Mhm.
categories like advocacy, education, leadership, things like that. So in 2021, I was awarded the ARRT's I am the gold standard for advocacy for the profession through social media, which was kind of new for them. I
Yeah,
had been talking to someone who worked at the ARRT, and even he was like, this is something that's changing in our profession. The social media presence needs to be recognized. And so I kind of got to be that first one, and that was really exciting.
all right. Well, nice job. Congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's been like one of the most rewarding messages or interactions you've had because of your social media platform?
I've talked to a lot of people over the years, and I never delete any of the messages. So if
Okay.
someone talked to me 5 years ago, I still have that message. So if they message me years later saying that they graduated, those are always the really nice ones. I do presentations for the radiation therapy programs. There was one where a student asked me a question at the end, and the teacher had no idea this was going to happen. But he had told me that I was the only person who ever replied to his Reddit thread
Oh,
about what radiation therapy was. And so
uh-huh.
it kind of helped him get the information he needed to become a radiation therapy student. And when I met him, he was about to graduate. And so it was really nice to hear. It was really sweet. And that actually happens kind of frequently. And it's because I've been doing it for so long now that the first
Yeah,
time it happened where I started it in like 2020 and then in 2022 I had people who were graduating and telling me that. So
yeah.
that's probably my favorite thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Well, kind of switching gears here, you and me, just got back from the ASRT House of Delegate conference. You were actually a delegate there, a voting delegate. What was it like for you being, I know it wasn't your first conference, but first time being a delegate, what was that like?
It's very cool because I mean, I represented the state of Michigan for this one. So,
Mhm.
I went to school in Michigan. I became part of the Michigan Society as a student, did the Student to Leadership Development program with them back when I was still a student. And then I've kind of gone in and out because obviously I left the state for a while, but I rejoined a few years ago. I served as the first and second vice president, and now I'm an affiliate delegate. So it was really coming full circle to be able to have done it as a student with them and been mentored by the delegates of that time, and then now have to go back and get to mentor the new students as the delegate. So it was really exciting. And there's two of us there per affiliate society. So we're the
Hmm.
ones who are really voting on behalf of all of the members of the Michigan Society.
Yeah, very
Big
cool.
responsibility.
Yeah, so there's like state delegates and then there's chapter delegates. So radiation therapy itself has its own like two delegates to vote. So,
Yeah, and so basically the ASRT is holding their own little congress for radiation
mhm,
therapy and imaging professionals. And
yep,
so it's really their legislative meeting each year. And so they are using all of those delegates and voices. What did we vote on this year? A few different things that were for upcoming licensure for limited professionals and
mhm,
memberships, and like what they will be able to and not be able to do in the future. So really
yeah,
helping determine what happens for the future of the ASRT.
yeah, absolutely. It's really neat what they do. When I
It's
was
very
in,
official.
yeah, it is very official. When I was a student and even like early on in radiation therapy, I had no idea about the House of Delegates or anything like that. I was a member of the SRT. It's just like, I figured I need to be a member of this society, but had no idea what all went into like the House of Delegate meeting and really all the advocacy that ASRT does for the medical imaging and radiation
Right.
therapy profession itself. Um, so yeah, I highly encourage like if anyone is interested in that, like definitely like look into it because they're doing some really great things. A lot more than just paying what is it, $135 now
Right.
annually,
Yeah.
paying the money and getting like a magazine in the mail. Like it's not just that. It's like so much more that they're doing with that, and they can't do that if they don't have members. So we even got to tour the ASRT museum while we were there, and that was pretty cool.
It was. It was very cool to see it finally in person. I've wanted to go for a while, but a trip to Albuquerque hasn't been in the plans. So
Yep.
getting to be there and see the actual ASRT, what headquarters is, I guess what you would call it.
Yeah. Yeah. Headquarters and museum. Yeah, it was awesome. I liked it.
It's very the whole thing is it seems very nerdy, and it is,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of, like, interesting things that happen. Because even so we've been going the last few years, every year
Mhm.
consistently. In 2024, the ASRT, they have a group of people who are our peers who make up the practice standards committee, and they recognize things that are changing and evolving within our profession, and in 2024, we were there when they, proposed new language specifically for us working in superficial radiation under a dermatologist, because the practice standard used to say that radiation therapists basically had to work under a RADONC. And so they
Mhm.
did propose new language that supported radiation therapists participating in superficial radiation therapy procedures as prescribed by a licensed practitioner, which then
Yeah.
included the dermatologist that we get to work for. So we got to be there and support that, make sure that everybody really understood why
Mhm.
that language was being proposed so that we had voices there to support it, and then
Yep.
watched it get adopted.
Yeah, that was really awesome. So, I mean, just goes to show, what delegates can do and like what, individuals can do just to help advance the field. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so if you aren't a member of the ASRT or your local affiliate, you should definitely become one.
Yeah, do it.
Do it.
All right. So let's see. Is there anything about radiation therapy that you would advocate for? Like, now that you're a delegate, you can maybe have a bigger voice. Is there anything that you want to change about radiation therapy?
I mean, for the profession as a whole, not off the top of my head. I would say that putting superficial radiation therapy education into the principles and practice textbook is something I would love to see happen, and always
Yeah.
happy to be the author of that portion of it if Mr. Washington would like to have me as a co-author.
Yeah, there you go. He was there. I saw Charles
He was.
Washington.
He's also a Wayne State
Yeah.
alumni, so I've met
All
him a
right.
handful of times, and great guy.
All right. Well, maybe that's in your future.
Hopefully.
We'll have to wait
Hopefully
and
he's
see.
listening.
Awesome.
I'm sure he's a subscriber of Born to Beam.
Yeah, everybody listens to this.
Everyone does.
All right. Well, let's learn a little bit more about you now. The fun stuff. What is something most people don't know about you?
I mean, people know a lot about me. John and I actually, we just Googled ourselves when we were sitting at
Oh,
the
that's right.
House Delegates meeting. We were at dinner, actually. We weren't Googling during the meeting. If you Google our names, stuff like Born to Beam and like all of the RTT stuff, it all pops up. And like, there's even a little bit, maybe more information about me than I realized on there. Like, my
Yeah,
AI overview tells you when I got married, where I went on my honeymoon, and that I am expecting a child.
that's
So
crazy.
I don't know if there's a lot people don't know about me. Um,
Social media, the
Social media,
interwebs, it's all
careful
out
what you
there.
post out there.
I
It's
know.
out
Yeah.
there. So they used to warn us about. It never goes away.
Yeah.
Clearly, I didn't listen.
Right.
I would say other than that, I am a homebody, so, like, even though I do travel a lot, like, I don't leave my house a ton, and my favorite thing is football season, and I'm currently counting down the days to become a degenerate football gambler again, because what I've done, I put $5 in a couple years ago, and that's all the money I've ever deposited into the gambling
Oh,
apps.
all right.
But I've turned that into hundreds of dollars using the knowledge we learned in probability and statistics. So
Nice.
it really I get to be a nerd, but still watch football. And I get to show my husband that I was right a lot. So
I'm sure
really,
you love
it makes it
that, and
interesting.
I'm sure he appreciates that even more.
He thinks it's fun. I mean, it makes it interesting. Like, I can watch
Yeah.
any team, and I do call them all by their first names as we are
Oh,
friends.
wow.
I'm friends with
Nice.
everyone in the NFL now.
Know them all, have them all memorized.
Yeah.
That's
We're all
impressive.
besties. First name
That's actually
basis.
that's actually really impressive.
Yeah,
Good
it's
for you.
most people are surprised by that when they hear
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm surprised.
Super
Not that
surprised.
surprised though.
Yeah,
All right.
because I did lose in fantasy football to everyone, including you
Yeah, you
last year.
were dead last in our group.
Dead last. This year we're going for a new strategy. My team will be all good-looking players because even if
Okay.
we are terrible, at least we look good while doing it.
All right. Well, hopefully you're dead last again. We'll see.
I probably will be.
You still have to complete last year's losing challenge, but we'll
We
give you
still
some grace.
Yep. It's fine.
Yeah. I got another fun question for you. What is something embarrassing you've done in your career that you wish you could go back and change or edit?
So, wasn't technically a therapist yet,
Uh-huh.
but I don't even know if you know this one. So, in the radiation therapy program, I was a runner. And so my friends and I had signed up to do the Detroit Free Press half marathon.
Okay.
And we all had matching sweatshirts that said, "Everything hurts and I'm dying." So, finish this half marathon. I go back to the program. I'm in school still. It's cold. The Detroit Free Press is in like November. It's cold on campus. So I wear my hoodie to class one day. The day I happened to wear it, we had a guest lecturer who was there to speak to us about hospice and end of life care.
Oh no.
And I had a shirt on that said, "Everything hurts and I'm dying." I was mortified. So I had like a big puffy, I mean, it was Michigan. I had a big puffy jacket. I zipped that thing all the way up and just like
Just sweated
melted
it
into
out
my
in
chair.
class.
I don't know if she had to have seen it, and I'm
Yeah.
sure she is not a fan.
Yeah, hopefully that was sense of humor too. You never know.
Yeah, but I mean, probably should have looked at the syllabus that day. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably one. If I could go back and change it, that's
No,
what
that's
I would
pretty
change.
that's embarrassing for sure.
Really unfortunate
Well,
timing.
yeah. Well, appreciate you being on. One last question before we close it out here. What would you say to anyone who has thought about being on the podcast but hasn't quite made that jump yet?
Don't do it. No, I'm totally kidding. So I listen to all of these podcasts and I edit them. So if you have ever thought you wanted to do this but thought you'd sound stupid, I mean, I feel like I'm gonna sound stupid doing this too. I am going to make you sound good. So if you mess up, no one's ever gonna know. You just
Right.
let me edit it. I'm going to make you look good. I'm going to make you look better than John. And you just get to have fun and tell what you're doing. Like, you guys are never going to know that I cut out like a big 5-minute part of this where I forgot what I was saying and we just pretended like it never happened and restarted. So
rolling.
just keep on going. You just fake it till you make it. Everybody should do it. I think a lot of people have stories to tell that maybe you're just so used to it that you don't find it to be unique or interesting, but a lot of other people would.
Yeah, everybody has a unique story to tell. And that's, I mean, I think this is, we've done like 12 or 13 episodes now. And
episode number 13.
All right. So, I mean, and I have yet to hear the same story twice. So
Right.
I think that's pretty good. So yeah, I agree. You should sign up.
You should sign up because we don't want John to start doing solo episodes.
Yeah,
no one
we don't want
wants
that.
to listen to John for 30 minutes by himself.
I don't have much to talk about anyway, so. But also, I would agree. You do a very good job of making everybody look good, including myself. So, well done on that.
It's not an easy job to make you look good either. So you guys are pretty talented at it.
Yeah. Well, all we have for today. Thank you again to Rachel for joining us on the Born to Beam podcast today. Also want to just give her another shout out for being our executive producer and doing an excellent job of making us all look good on these podcasts. Couldn't do without her. If you did enjoy today's episode, be sure to like and subscribe, and also be sure to tell your friends about it. Once again, thanks again for joining us, and we hope to see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Born to Beam. This episode was brought to you by Gentle Cure by Skincare Oncology, a non-surgical radiation therapy option for treating non-melanoma skin cancer.